to Rivers Television Channel 22 UHF Port Harcourt. It is Globe in 60 Minutes and a special edition, the election edition of Globe in 60 Minutes. Of course, today we just had the presidential election and the National Assembly election. Everything took around the country, and we've had results in terms of the election, not in terms of figures, but the way it fared. That's what I mean. I'm sure some of you are already, your ears are already jumping up to hear results. I don't have any right to issue any results. Only INEC that will give us a result, and then we issue this result. But I'm talking about the election, the way it went around the country. Of course, we saw that it started in the morning by 8 a.m. We saw the president vote in Dara. And that followed other VIPs that voted. For example, saw the vice president voting in Lagos, and Atiku voting in his ward, and P2B and all that. A lot of people, and so many hiccups and problems arising from the use of card readers. Well, we had delayed voting, we had voting parties in some areas, and the major issue arising from that delay voting was the extension of time in places where elections didn't take place. INEC broadcast from INEC, and we hope that those who didn't vote may have voted. But in Rivers State, a lot of sad tales coming from Rivers State. The election took place, as it were, in 20 local governments out of 23, because Agricultural, Bonny and Okrika didn't have polls. A lot of issues came out from those local government areas in Bonny. For example, that there was an altercation right from INEC offices, where a former commissioner in the state launched an onslaught on the entire process by ensuring that that election does not hold. And there was a shootout. Shooting in the place, and we hear that some were injured. We have not confirmed any case of fatality, but cases of near fatality. And the same thing happened in a similar fashion in Agricultural, where the military had a swear time shooting sporadically. In Okrika, there was serious attempt to stop the proceedings right from the we have that security operatives stop many people from traveling, and in Okrika, Ward 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there was no election, and so that brought the entire process to an abrupt end. We had similar isolated cases in Emoha local government. In Amodiara, for example, we had some gunmen shot in a particular polling unit and disrupted proceedings there. And Ikoro local government, we had some shootings in Ubima and all that. And one case of vote buying, for example, in Ilele, where it was reported that moving around. That's Ilele Ward 3 and 4. Ward 3 in particular, where a particular party chieftain was going around trying to buy votes. And we've told our report coming from the former commissioner, coming from the present commissioner of information in Rivers State, in Oka. And well, a lot of issues. We've had cases of arrest of political opponents the previous night and so on. In Bakana, in Bakana, we have reports of isolated cases of election disruption, where elections actually didn't take place, and so on and so forth. Well, right now, collation is taking place, and we have a report from the local government by Honorable Commissioner Malka that the opposing party and their collaborators seem to prefer centralized collation rather than ward collation, which was what INEC recommended, because will be announced at the various polling units and collected at the ward level, and then sent to the collation centers at Isubu and other local government headquarters. But it appears that what is running now is isolated, centralized ward collection. And we recall that centralized collation led to rigging of elections in the local government during the rerun in 2016, where results were smuggled and the results that came from different wards were destroyed. And we've had cases of burning of results. We had a case of that in Lagos, It's viral online now, where a man was screaming, "They have burnt our votes! They have burnt our votes!" That's the tale of today, and we've had fatalities in Bayelsa. We had 2 persons died in Bayelsa. Rivers State Police Command has confirmed the death of a former local government chairman in Andoni local government area, and there are so many cases, isolated cases. But in all, if you ask from the reports we are getting in, which our reporters will confirm later after the news, indicates that in 23 local government areas we had a near successful election, but where we are now is polling, collation, and we pray that the collation process comes out smoothly, because it's only in collation process that the harm is usually done in terms of manipulation and displacement of actual results from the wards. We'll come back after the news and give you details. Buboloba Parker is standing by to give us some of the reports in terms of news from different wards. Parker, you ready?
I am.
Well, I told you that you and I will take today's this evening's proceedings. We have been here since evening. Since morning. Since morning, we've been talking since morning, and this is your turn to join the talk. You're welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to the news on the Global 60 Minutes. Do remember that Rivers State is a home of peace and hospitality. Do not turn it into a theater of gangsterism and cult war, because you could be the next victim. Now, the details of reports. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has expressed delight at a large turnout of Nigerians who are taking the right decision that will lead to the emergence of a new president of the country. Governor Wike made a comment after casting his vote at Unit 7 of Ward local government area of Rivers State. Tamno Barabi Bulumo has more.
Governor Nyesom Wike and his polling unit together at about 11:43 o'clock. Then they got accredited by the electoral officers before they proceeded to cast their votes at 11:54 o'clock. Governor Wike said it used to be the police that was blamed in interfering with the electoral process, but the reports available to him indicate otherwise. He said the military has overtaken the police in putting itself against the will of the people by interfering with the electoral process in some areas. He, however, commended a few of them who have needed security, saying electorates have demonstrated sufficient enthusiasm and are willingly exercising their civic rights.
It's unfortunate that our military would descend so low. Well, we used to complain about the police, but today we have seen that it is not the military. But by and large, I think INEC is prepared, and apart from the military intervention, I think things are moving on smoothly. Every Nigerian should be patient. At the end of the day, what God has willed, what Nigerians have wished to be, will be. It doesn't matter what any manipulation anybody will want to carry out. I'm hopeful, I'm very, very hopeful that Nigerians will decide today.
Both mother and father of the state governor, Reverend and Mrs. Ilemaya Wike, also cast their votes at the same unit, 7 Ward 9, where the governor voted. Tamun Barabi Ibulubo, RSTV News.
Satisfaction with the peaceful conduct of the presidential and national assembly elections at our hometown of Wama in Degama local government area. Dr. Banigo made the recommendation shortly after casting her vote at Ward 14, Unit 10 during today's election. Obiando Madume was there.
Addressing journalists at the end of voting at Ward 14, Unit 10 in Degama local government area, Dr. Banigo expressed delight at the large turnout of the election franchise. She said the massive turnout is an indication of the fact that the people are ready to perform their civic responsibility of electing their leaders. Dr. Banigo commended the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, on the early arrival of material, which also facilitated the early voting.
You can see the turnout all over our polling units. It's quite remarkable. And that shows the determination of the people. I want to complete that we see they have started.
At Unit 7, Ward 14, still in Degama local government area, The materials arrived quite on time, with the electorates also on ground, followed with accreditation simultaneously. Some of the electorates interviewed lauded INEC and the people of the area their peaceful disposition.
The environment is peaceful, and everybody that is casting their vote are in order with the constitution of the electoral process, and we give glory to God for what is done so far.
It went well and peaceful. As in Arrest Town in Degama local government, it's one of the peaceful community. No violence have ever recorded in Arrest.
The story was not different from Unit 9 in Obuama Town, as the people were not deterred despite the previous postponement of the election by 1 week. Election in parts of areas visited precisely in Ward 3, Unit 20 in Asaritor local government area witnessed peaceful voting. In Emowa local government area at Ward 3, Unit 11, at about past 3 o'clock, voting was still ongoing as the electorate came out overwhelmingly to cast their vote, despite lack of appropriate coordination among voters.
The material did not arrive on time, and secondly, the register strength here is too high. We have about 1,403 members here to be, and everybody is interested to vote.
At Ward 1, Unit 1 and 2 in Elimbu, Obiakpo local government area, complaints associated with the non-functioning of the card readers, late arrival of materials in some polling units, election went on peacefully with large turnout of electorates.
So the process is cool and calm. Materials are in time. I vote 8. INEC has done wonderful work and is well organized. Today we have of card reader start in time. Please, for the next election, let's lift up the discard reader.
Obiakpo Madumi, TV News.
Political stakeholders in Rivers Southeast Senatorial District have applauded the peaceful conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections in the area. Latam La Able reports from Eleme, Tai, Gukana, and Kana local government areas of the Senatorial District.
The presidential and National Assembly elections in the Southeast Senatorial District was peaceful and orderly. At Eleme local government area, the party agents and ad hoc staff were seen moving voting materials to various wards and units as party agents expressed their expectations. Similarly, at INEC office or headquarters of Gukana local government area, materials were distributed while voting went on well at Catholic Church Bidere, State School 2, and Apostolic Church all in Ward 4, which has 17 units. In Kana local government area, materials were moved from rack at about 10 a.m. to various wards and units from the local government industrial units, Bori. At Berry, Ward 9, Unit 8, voters exercised their civic rights with candidates for House of Representatives, Domnamene Deko, in attendance, while at Luwa, Ward 16, Senator Lee Meba reported the absence of voting materials to the community.
Beside the late arrival of material, it is at the end of voting time that we'll be able to know where voting have taken place, where we were able to do election, and how many places the rampaging APC talks have destroyed voting materials.
Bori, headquarters of Kana local government area, Ward 1, Unit 6, 7, and 8, concluded elections at about 1:57 p.m. In all, it was peaceful as expressed by these stakeholders, while commending the security for their effort.
For this very polling unit, I commend them good. But for the other places, I don't know.
I'm highly impressed with the turnout of people, especially for the men's where I come from.
Latam News.
Presidential and National Assembly elections was held today in Rivers State. Correspondent Justice Ihunwo monitored some local government areas in Rivers East Senatorial District of the state.
Distribution of materials in Obiakpo, Port Harcourt and Ikure local government areas where I monitored elections started early and voting commenced between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. in most units visited.
Everything seems calm, everything seems peaceful, and that's what we're hoping for. I think everybody's hoping for a peaceful day, so that as many people who want to vote can come out and vote in a calm manner.
This morning, as God may have it, they started very early. As at 6 o'clock, they are done with the distribution of the materials to the various NYC ad hoc workers that is supposed to handle their various units.
Voters generally turned out in large numbers in all the units visited, and the elections conducted in peaceful atmosphere. Electors described the process as satisfactory, but sued for a process that will facilitate the voting process.
The election is okay. I like the way the election is going.
The election is a very peaceful and successful. I stood on the queue for 1 hour, and it's very discomforting. I imagine particularly the elderly ones, INEC needs to go back to the drawing board and rejig the entire process and make it a little bit more voter friendly. So far so good. It's peaceful here. It's orderly here. The people are conducting themselves very orderly.
If what I have seen here is what is happening all over the whole place, I want to say that it is very credible. There's sincerity in it. I give my heart for the orderliness and calm of what is happening here today.
Voting ended between 1 and 2 p.m. in some units in Obiabo and Port local government areas.
Here in my own polling unit, election is going on here smoothly, even though some expressing concern about the delay in the process. But it's one man doing one thing and the other one, not two people doing it. So we experience some of these little delays. I've asked them to be patient, and that but the smart card reader, in my own experience, when I went to vote, was perfect.
As you can see, we're almost done. This is about the only unit in St. Thomas here that is that still has a number of persons online. And in the next few minutes, by 15 or 20 minutes, I think they should be done.
As at the time of filing in this report, votes were being counted in most polling units. Justice Ehunwo, RSTV News.
Similarly, the presidential and National Assembly elections today took place in all local government areas of Rivers West Senatorial District. Ogbuka Umeda monitored the exercise in the area and reported that electoral material arrived late in some parts, while skirmishes were also noticed in others.
Election in Rivers West Senatorial District went on as scheduled, but not without some hedges. Electoral materials in Ahoda East LGA were distributed as early as 8:30 a.m. and my visit to some polling units in the area showed the comportment of the electorates who filed out to cast their votes.
This is polling unit 1 in Ward 5 in Ahoda East local government. Was accredited, I have voted, and you can see from the look that the place has been very peaceful.
In fact, everybody came out peaceful to vote. The other parties came out, the PDP also came out, and I think the process is 100% peaceful.
INEC arrived 8:30 this morning.
I'm voting comments.
Around 9 o'clock.
The 17 units of Ward 5 Edoha in Ahoda East local government area witnessed massive turnout despite the late arrival of materials. Some of the voters who spoke to me shortly after they cast their votes commended INEC for a job well done. They however advised that the electoral umpire should facilitate early distribution of materials in the coming governorship and House of Assembly elections, as the late arrival of materials in today's election created panic among the electorate.
In my community, precisely, they have been peaceful all the way. Even today, as you can see everybody standing with the election for the vote. The Senate and the reps, APC is not involved, and we took it in good faith because we always pray that we keep to justice. For the presidential, we are voting because we are in the bylaw.
We voted, we've counted the votes, and PDP won all the elections for presidential, Senate, and reps. We've written result waiting for the APC agent to sign. When they saw that they failed, they refused to sign the result. They refused to sign their column. And one of them just went there and tear out the ballot papers.
In Abua Odua local government area, election materials got to Okobo at about 12:30 p.m. while voting commenced about 1 p.m. However, in Unit 15, Ward 1, the unit home of the River State Deputy Speaker, Honorable Marshal Owom, voters waited patiently to exercise their franchise, but the materials were nowhere to be found till our news crew left the area.
By INEC, currently there's some issues and I think they're trying to resolve it. And I believe that with the voter turnout and the enthusiasm of the voters, we're all waiting earnestly to cast our votes. We are peace-loving and we know our disposition is one of peace. We have a governor that has always been one that has kept us in close cohesion. And so there's no basis. We don't have no reason to want to foment problems or create violence or anarchy. And other parties that are not prepared perhaps will want to foment that to disrupt the...
Meanwhile, election in Emoha local government area went on peacefully as my visit to Akpabo community showed voters queuing up to exercise their franchise.
This is Unit 007, Ward 10 in Emoha local government area of River State. As you can see, voting has commenced in earnest and the situation is calm and peaceful. As
NEC has done a very great work. The Kadrida is functioning optimally. Everything is going on smoothly. You can see no noise. You're going to vote and relax.
As voting ends, electorates who are members of the various political parties contesting for the election are expectant of announcement of results. Ogboka Umeda, RSTV News.
Election matters. Reports reaching us from Abuja say the Independent National Electoral Commission has invalidated votes cast at Aya Asokoro polling unit 010 due to irregularities. Resident Electoral Commission in the Federal Capital Territory, Alhaji Yahya Bello, announced this at 12:20 p.m. while briefing newsmen on the development. He said the irregularities were as a result of the votes cast at a wrong location in Area 1, which he described as the presumed unit. Trouble started when voters assembled at the Aya Asokoro polling unit, being the authentic unit, and discovered that voting had commenced at the wrong location at Area 11. At this discovery, the voters raised an alarm and they quickly moved to the Aya Asokoro polling unit 010, but voters insisted that the ballots cast at the wrong unit be cancelled. According to the resident electoral officer, whether rightly or wrongly cast, the votes were cast in the wrong place and they are invalidated, adding that smart card readers would be reconfigured in order to recommence the process. Going forward now, a German Catholic Cardinal, Reinhard Marx, has admitted that church files on priests who sexually abused children were destroyed or even drawn up, a move which allowed pedophiles to prey on others. Marx was speaking on the third day of an unprecedented meeting of the world's top bishops, which Pope Francis has called in an effort to get on top of a crisis that has dogged the Roman Catholic Church for decades. The Cardinal apologized personally in September to thousands of victims of sexual assault by clergy in German church, but said perpetrators must be brought to justice. Investigations have revealed that in many cases, priests accused of assaulting minors were transferred to other parishes as bishops turned a blind eye to protect the church's reputation. And that's it on the news segment of the Global 60. Don't forget that real estate is a home of peace and hospitality. Do not turn it into a theater of gangsterism and cult war. You could be the next victim. Stay tuned now as we bring in reports from the various local government areas on things really on ground during the presidential and national assembly elections.
This is where all the magic happens. RSTV channel 22 UHF. Fast digitizing to meet best practices in broadcasting. Our signal is received beyond reach from Abia to Imo, Delta to Edo, Akwa Ibom to Cross River, Enugu to Anambra, Ebonyi and Ondo State. Enjoy our rich programs, local contents, news, talks, sports, health, documentaries, and an array of great programming. Take advantage of our uncommon services to promote your business. Watch RSTV on Go TV channel 103 and Star Times channel 113. Instagram and Twitter handle RSTV22 Live. Facebook RSTV channel 22. Visit our website www.rstv-ng.com. You can also visit our marketing office at 64 Ubuna Valley Road, Port Harcourt. Office 10 Modupe Street off Oluwakerele by Lagoon Hospital, Ikeja, Lagos. We are RSTV channel 22, reaching you at the grassroots.
East of the Niger is streaming live this Saturday as we bring you updates from the fields on the presidential and national assembly elections. Join us and make your contributions on facebook.com/RSTV channel 22, Twitter handle at RSTV22 online, and YouTube at RSTV22 online. You sure can't afford to miss it.
River State Television, reaching you at the grassroots.
Here we are, nestling and boisterous, supreme base of a nation great, our heritage built on a cocktail of cultures, a land sprawling in immense propensity. This is who we are, River State, a promise of unending possibilities. The time has come to shift the paradigm and congregate in a plural voice, so we can build a new bridge of unity, together. Let us cascade the potent harvest of our glorious destinies. Let all and sundry hear and call, for the time is now, to prove our riversness and put an end to our divisiveness. Listen to the roar of hydrocarbon engines stirring alive a nation's hopes. See the majesty of our people blessed with eternal gifts that run deep in the well of our generosity. River State is a symbolic threshold where hope is lit like fireflies, illuminating dark dungeons of yesterday, and that must break away from novid norms and pedestrian inclinations. River State will survive the siege. Our people must surmount the surge. Come, proclaim and defend our unbreakable spirit, so we can renew our communal covenant. This is River State, where peace reverberates in solemn resonance, where the passion for life glows beyond the twilight, where life is a rhythm, a music with echoes of fraternal melodies. Our rivers of excellence beckons beyond belief.
to Global 60 Minutes, and this is the discussion segment. I have in the studio two gentlemen who are just come back on the field. You had some of those reports, very sweet reports, juicy reports from different parts of the speech, especially the 23 government areas. The other three were almost pregnable. I remember told me they were not allowed to enter Kukutoro, to be precise. But we have some people here who to traverse the 20 local government of the state where elections were successful, and they're here from I have Leighton Laebo here, and I have Justice Imo here. You're welcome, gentlemen. Thank you. All right, welcome. All right. So you went to cover Rivers East government, right? Rivers Southeast, yes? Yes. Rivers Southeast, and you came with a very beautiful result. Give an impression that all was wonderful. Can you give more insight? Because right here we are masking the reporters that were in the field. Right now we're demystifying them. We are trying to demystify them. Yeah. So now come out. The masquerade is in the arena now. Can you tell us what went? What transpired?
We are no mysterious beings. We went through the streets and cities and villages that made up the Southeast Senatorial District, and we were able to come out with a beautiful result based on the peaceful outing of the voters from Tai. Precisely, we started from Elemi local government, where we saw the ad hoc staff, the security agents, the party agents, everybody really... Okay, let me guide you so that you don't repeat the kind of report you gave here. Okay. So let me guide you. Now, when we entered the Lemi, the voting start at, because voting was supposed to start between 8 and 2 p.m. Yes. When did voting start? Well, the voting started about 8 o'clock. Okay, 8 o'clock? Because the materials were ready. Yes, ready, everything ready. Yes. So when we left that place, we proceeded to other local governments. And people were queuing, and then the only area that the story was different was that of some part of Kana local government where the material could not reach us at the time of the report. Okay, there was late arrival of materials in Kana. Yes. Okay. To be precise, it was 16. Where the honorable distinguished senator, the explained what happened. Yes, he to us what happened, and then he gave us some insight of some other reasons. But well, for now, it has been aired. Okay, I'll come back for us to give us some insights now. Now, which was the last part of the area that you went to? So the local government within the land borders. Yes. Which was the last local government? The last local government was Kana. Kana. Yes. Okay. Was that last place you came to? By the time you were in Kana, voting had concluded? Yes. You told us you were moving to Tai when we called. Definitely. I was leaving Burundi when the voting concluded at 1:57. 1:57. So before 2 p.m., voting was concluded in Kana local government. And by the time we got to Tai, what happened? By the time I went to Tai, it was also concluded. And we met them at the local government headquarters where they were collating. So the two local government areas concluded within the press period. Okay, within the time frame. Yes, and there were cases of bias matching, people security men trying to compromise the process, assault of voters and the operatives of INEC and all that. Do you have any ugly incidents? As at the time of our report, as at the time of our observation, yes, we could not see such. That would not mean that certain things... There are no isolated cases. Yes, it may not be the perfect situation, but from your own reckoning, the 4 local government areas of Ogoni took had very smooth process. Definitely. I'm sure Port Harcourt and Nobia will have the same process. What do you say? Quite fine. There was a lot of enthusiasm so far as this election is concerned.
in that area.
Far cry from what used to be.
Okay.
There is a lot of zeal. There are people who have this.
So there was no party at all?
No, no party.
From your report, there were long queues.
Yeah, there were a lot of women zealous to cast their vote, men and women coming out. They were standing in the sun to exercise their franchise.
Okay.
Yes. This is an election which people want to make their vote to count.
Okay.
So many of them turned out in mass in all the units I visited, in Port Harcourt, in Obiakpo. In fact, in Obiakpo and Port Harcourt, at 7 o'clock, most rack centers have distributed materials.
Okay.
And the election started between 8 and 9 o'clock in most units.
Okay. Between 8 and 9 o'clock. And what was the counting of votes like? Because by the time you came, voting was concluded.
Most areas they have concluded, but there was an information that they've extended the time to 4 o'clock to enable more persons who are on the queue to cast their vote.
And that's INEC regulation.
As at that time, when I went to some of the units, they have already cast their vote, waiting for the time for the counting.
Do you have any incident of arrest of politicians, disruption of the press, shooting and molestation of persons and voters by the security of police, or by some miscreants, or you may say gunmen who have come to? Was there any case like that?
There was no case like that. If you look at my report, there was testimony that everything was smooth.
Okay, people were testifying.
Nobody was compelled to do anything. Nobody was being harassed. Yes.
But I heard
in Ikoro local government area. I didn't go deep in Ikoro. I was up at Iguta. But the information I got that some persons snatched ballot boxes at
Onagwa. But Onagwa came out. The reporter, somebody called from Onagwa and told us it was a very perfect place. And we had reports from any monitoring team, and they gave us smooth road. But when Honorable Okechina was talking in your interview, he was talking about for INEC to rejig the process.
Yes.
So
yes. A point that if they have passed the new
electoral law,
it would have given people the ease of casting their vote. Because people go a lot of stress standing in the sun for a long time before they cast their vote. I think the law, according to him, would have given some kind of room where the electoral process would be faster.
Okay, are you saying that the INEC in their process of trying to separate people and make the process more inclusive, they have this segregation of voters where women, pregnant women, physically disabled persons and physically challenged persons were set to have been placed in different lines? You didn't have that process? Everybody was mixed up, and that was what Chimba was going on peacefully. Slow pace, yes. Can we have a situation where we can have a faster election? Because the candidates, we don't have stories of candidates in the way.
Actually, in one of the units in Obiakpo, initially when they started, there was this issue of argument that the password was not correct. Until they corrected it. Well, it didn't take up to 1 hour.
Well, let me see whether anybody will argue against what you're saying. Hello? Okay, we missed that call. I think that this time we'll do more of talking now because reporters are coming from the field. So what's your opinion? The issue of card readers?
Yeah, the issue of card reader, specifically in Ward 9, Unit 8, we... Okay.
Hello, what's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, you're calling from where? Amina local government. Yes, we don't have any report from Amina. Can you tell us, I'm sure voting has been completed and counting has been completed. Are you going to tell us anything about collation?
The election in Amina, I was always in go through affair.
Okay, 4 and 4. Yes. Can you tell us anything about collation of results? Collation of results. Have they started collating results? Is it centralized or is it beginning from ward level?
We are not going through Yes, for that, now.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for, we're happy to hear from Anima, and I was hoping to get some calls from some other areas. Thank you very much for calling. Yes.
Yes, as I was saying, Ward 9, Unit 8 in Kana local government, being dairy, we observed that the card reader was too slow, and it kept people online for a long time.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello. After this, we'll go for a short break so that we can hear from other reporters. Hello. What's the name? Where are you calling from? Hello. Hello. Can you use your voice? I am the one that should hear you. Can you say something? What's the name? Where are you calling from? All right. At this juncture, we'll go on a break, and when we come back, we'll get more reports from some of our reporters who are already in the field. We also have less than 12 minutes to go.
River State Television, the farthest reaching broadcast medium east of the Niger, is streaming live this Saturday 6 as we bring you updates from the fields on the presidential and National Assembly elections. Join us and make your contributions on Facebook.com/RSTV Channel 22, Twitter handle at RSTV22 Online, and YouTube at RSTV22 Online. You sure can't afford to miss it. Television, the farthest reaching broadcast medium east of the Niger, is streaming live this Saturday 6 as we bring you updates from the fields on the presidential and National Assembly elections. Join us and make contributions on Facebook.com/RSTV Channel 22, Twitter handle at RSTV22 Online, and YouTube at RSTV22 Online. You sure can't afford to miss it.
In 60 minutes, and we're having a discussion segment where we're looking at the scenario. We've had reports from some of our reporters in the field, and we're also bringing more reports. And from here in the studio, we have Bianca Madini and Vincent Akor. I've shown you Vincent Akor. You can yes, reporters are in the field, and 5 very wonderful reports. And let me start from Vincent Akor. You're just coming from the headquarters. What's happening to collation?
Of course, yes. Yes, as at the time we left INEC headquarters.
Yes.
Actually, we were awaiting results from various collation centers.
Okay.
None has arrived anyway.
Okay.
And as it stands now, there is a press release to that effect, which will be released.
Okay. Can you give us some snippets of what they said in that?
Of course, the INEC re-emphasizes a position against election rigging, and they need to actually organize a free and fair, credible election.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk about scheduling of elections?
Of course, yes. Like
in the 3 local government areas?
Yes. Akabuto and Africa LGs, where skirmishes were reported. And then INEC has decided that the elections will be cancelled in those LGs, believing that by tomorrow election will be
conducted. Okay, is they're not very definite about election holding tomorrow?
Yeah, the INEC.
They are considering that.
Yes, considering. It's considering.
Because they need to get clearance from Abuja.
Yeah, that is what they are waiting. At the time, the INEC director, education and voters, voters education and publicity, Edwin Enago. He was making call. He was calling Abuja to confirm certain reports before issuing out the
press release. Okay. So, generally, how did you receive all the negative reports coming from the field?
Of course, all the reports came to INEC situation room.
And that's why you worked.
Yes, of course. And INEC, is not taking some of the reports lightly. Incidents that took place at Okrika side. Of course, INEC emphasized that the report has been is with this Commissioner of Education, Commissioner of Police in the state for investigation. And that INEC will commence prosecution as soon as
I like that.
Yes, as soon as it is confirmed that the DPU is involved in that.
Because there are cases of complicity by the police and some security personnel, right? Yes. And I'm happy that the Commissioner of Police is going to investigate that. And let's hope that prosecutions will actually be done, because it goes beyond the order that we got from the presidency should be ruthless. We are talking about security personnel getting involved and compromising the process, which the state government has been talking about for a long time now. Now, while you were cooling off in the INEC situation room, somebody was burning in the sun in Akukutoro. In fact, if I was asked to give an award today, I would give an award to Madumi for doing a very wonderful job from Akukutoro local government, from burning, from Sarotoro, from Degina, the Ushonia area of Calabar speaking local government area. Wonderful thing you did there. Can you give us an insight?
Thank you very much, sir. Actually, I want to say that before I proceeded to the Oceania area, I did some combing within my residence. That's within the parts of Obiabo, precisely Unit 1, Ward 1. Unit 1, Ward 2.
Okay.
Sorry. Ward 1, Unit 2 in the Obiabo local government area, where I actually saw a good number of electorates
coming out to you very early.
Yes.
At what time was that?
That was as early as 8:15.
So you are still on your own.
One of the reports that in one of my report tonight, where a traditional ruler spoke and said that he actually voted exactly 8:30.
So you tried to be his at home?
Yes. So by the time I finished with all that, I now proceeded straight to my prescribed area of jurisdiction.
And you got there early?
Yes, I got there early, and then I went straight to the hometown of the number 2 citizen of the state. That's talking about the deputy governor of the state, Dr. Mr. Ipalibo Bani Buhari. Now, on getting to
Harry
Banigo. On getting to her residence, were asked to allow the material to get to the various polling units before she is going to be informed. And it didn't take quite some time, and these materials actually arrived. That was between the hours of 9:45, 9:50, or thereabout. The materials, started moving to various polling units. And exactly 11:26 a.m., the deputy governor went and discharged her.
That's the formal, very civic aspect of the report. Now, can you look at beyond that? Was there peaceful proceedings in Degina?
Yes, we had.
Yes, but there are cases of what about Bukuma had some issues, right?
I actually didn't get up to Bukuma. Now, in one of the units that I also visited in Obuama, that's Unit 7, Ward 14, which happens to be the ward of Her Excellency, I discovered that though the materials actually arrived on time, now when I was asking why the delay, in the voting, because as the materials arrived, they didn't commence voting immediately.
Okay.
And then I had to ask, what are we waiting for? And the electoral officers told me that there was this vital document that they forgot.
Yes, some sensitive. So there was a late arrival of materials.
No, the materials arrived. I believe the majority of the materials got there on time. But there was a sensitive one that wasn't there, which is there was delay. Okay, so they had to wait for the SPU to go get it. So as quickly as possible, the SPU rushed, got it, and as soon as he brought that particular sensitive material, election commenced at that and so I could see the eagerness and the zeal in the minds of the electorate who turned that in their numbers to actually participate.
Okay, that's very interesting. And actually, Tobuka was going to come here and talk for 2 minutes.
Then one of the areas we had some serious challenge in Abonima. Yes, we couldn't enter Abonima because on arrival at Abonima Bridge, the boundary between Bigima and Abonima, the security men who were at that point had to inform us, had to tell us that you wouldn't go, and it is their responsibility as security agencies to actually take our safety into something that's very, very important. So we were advised for our own good that we shouldn't make the mistake of entering Abonima. And right as we were standing, we could even hear the exchange of gunshots.
And these were military men shooting in the air.
I wouldn't actually accept that because I wasn't there.
So it sounded like it wasn't.
Yeah, it sounded like it wasn't.
Let me take this call. That will be the last call. After that, we'll take a look on it. Hello. Can you use your voice? What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. What's the scenario in the tree?
Okay, the election was free and fair.
Okay, free and fair. All right, and it's up. Well, I think were there instances in a day of shooting or any kind of malpractice?
No, there was no.
Which part of the trade did you vote? Okay, thank you very much for calling. Now, at this point, one of my reporters will talk for 2 minutes and we just yank off the program. Look at that you were at Ashi region.
Thank you very much.
So, what transpired there? Can you give us briefly? Were there any obstructions? Were there any hiccups? Do you have delayed balloting?
Basically, there was election in that side of the area. Okay. Just that in Abuja local government area. Election didn't hold on time because of the election materials. The election materials arrived late. Then in Ahoda East too, it arrived late, but the voters were there